Hello, family. This is your old school traveler. Yeah, I'm back again, but let me tell you about a city that I'm kind of proud of. And actually, I enjoyed this city, and it's changed over the years. We're going to talk about Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, home of the Quakers. Now, let me tell you about Philadelphia. See, I'm kind of biased because I used to live there. I'll tell you up front. But I'm not as biased as some people think. Because see, I used to live there and I was never, let's say, a fan of some of the people in Philadelphia. When I say people, Philadelphia, one thing about them, that city has a lot of love. I mean, a lot of love. I see why they call it brotherly love. And I used to live there when I was a teenager. But I lived and spent 99% of my time in the north part of Philadelphia, up by Temple University. Yeah, I spent my time in the north part. Well, this time I went back and I went to the west part. West Philly is a big part of Philadelphia. I went to the west part, stayed there for a week, and I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Now, I did go to the north part, and the city has changed. Changed in a lot of ways. Now, don't get me wrong. Like I tell you all the time, every city got a good part and a bad part. And Philadelphia is no different than any other major city or big city. But the people seem a little warmer than I remember. And also downtown is cleaned up a lot. I mean, a lot. It's as modern and as clean as you can get in any downtown city. You know, it's got all the museums, all the stuff that you're going to like. But not only that, there's something to do every day in Philadelphia, which is what you want when you travel. You want to have something to do every day and something different every day. And Philadelphia allows you to do that. And, you know, the park is clean. Now, don't get me wrong. You still got some junky parts in Philadelphia that they're just, you know what, they're never going to get to those parts. But for the most part, the city is safe and friendly. You know, you got crime, but it's just not blaring on the news all day, every day like Baltimore, per se. But if you do want to go there, I recommend that you stay in the university district because it's located close to everything. Stay in the university district and you can drive or Uber or whatever have you to all the other parts in minutes. I'm talking like 5 to 10 minutes, 15 minutes at the most. It's not like a lot of big cities where you got to go from north to south, takes you a couple of hours. No. I was actually surprised how efficient the traffic light system is. As soon as you leave one, if you go to speed limit, you really can go through the entire city without stopping. If you go to speed limit. Now, of course, if the speed limit says 30 and you go on 40, you're going to stop at the next light. You know, so of course you're going to have all that. So what you want to do, stay in an area that's just totally convenient to every other place in Philadelphia. And, you know, city center's all right, but I like the university district because it's really just one bridge a couple minutes away has you almost any place you want to be at in Philadelphia very, very quickly. Now, saying that, the food scene in Philadelphia is off the chain. Yes, it is. It is off the chain. The food district is off the chain in Philadelphia. You know, you can go to the Reading Terminal Market. You go in there, you can get food from almost any place in the world, all in one place, covered, all air conditioned. Yes, you can. And so now, I didn't see a lot of Asian food, but that's not hard to find in Philadelphia, especially in the university district. But I found food from everywhere else. And here's the unique thing about Philadelphia. The food is the food is cheap. Buying fast food sandwiches or whatever, the food is cheap. I don't know why Philadelphia food is cheaper than other places, other cities' food. Now, the food truck is not a big scene, at least not where I was at. And I drove around quite a bit, and you can tell by these videos, I did a lot of driving. But I didn't see a lot of food trucks. But I did see a lot of good things. You know, it's almost like some parts of Philadelphia, you're going to feel like you're in the suburbs, but you're really in the city. Now, here's the negative things. I always tell you the good and the bad about any place I go to, because you got to know. Don't want you to have a surprise. The transportation system is kind of a little bit different than New York and Chicago. Philadelphia, the bus line dominates moving people around. The subway is there, but it's not highly publicized, nor does it goes all over the city like New York or, for the most part, Chicago. It's kind of like LA. The bus system dominates, and the rail system, it just doesn't. It goes downtown. Don't get me wrong, but it doesn't always go where you want to go, and sometimes they just stop. It's almost like they started the rail line, the subway, and they got halfway done and said that's good enough. Yeah, it's kind of. That's just But the people who live there have no issue with the bus line, and the buses are fairly cheap. You can go around the whole city all day long for like $5 to some small amount, but it's not enough to sweat about, though. It's not enough to sweat about. Now, Philadelphia is a very, very diverse city. That's the first thing you got to know. It's very, very diverse. I like that. Like I tell you before, if it's very, very diverse, I'm going to like it because I can get a little anything almost anywhere within the city. It's very, very diverse. So as far as diversity goes, you can't beat it. It's on par with New York, Chicago, LA, it's at that level, and it should be because it's a big city. But the one thing that I did notice is that a lot of the it's diverse, but a lot of the ethnic foods are not centrally located. They're very jumbled together in certain parts of the city. And Philadelphia, for those who don't know, is more than just cheesesteaks. I know you can go to Pat's and you can go to all the other places. It's more than just cheesecakes. They have a lot of different foods to try there, a lot, and they have the good things centrally located, like the Reading Food Terminal, some of the other markets, and they're all located and stuff. Now, saying that, if you want to go out and have a good meal, it's not expensive. It's not expensive. If you want to move around the city, as far as travel around the city, it's not hard. It's not hard. And, when I go to cities, I don't go looking for the crime. No, most big cities, you ain't got to. It'll come find you. It'll knock on your door and say, hey, I'm here. Hey, let me in. But as far as, it's kind of a peaceful city. And the people were pretty kind. You ask them questions, they just answer the question and move on. And I went during the Christmas season, which makes it a lot of fun. But I'm gonna tell you another negative about Philadelphia. Traffic on the freeways is horrific. Don't be in a rush. If you do, plan your day from 10 to 2 to move through Philadelphia. Traffic on the freeways is horrific. And they do not have merge lanes. When it says they go to road to I-76 or Schuylkill Expressway or 95, whatever, when it says, that road is not going to have a quarter-mile entrance like you do down south. It's not going to have that. No. It's not going to have that. So get that in your mind. And it's just bad traffic. It doesn't matter what day or night or wherever you're coming from. Whenever you go up north, if you can make it through Philly, you can make it. Now, normally when I go up north past Philly, I don't go nowhere near Philadelphia. But Philadelphia is famous for its shopping. You got some big old shopping malls everywhere. You got some huge shopping malls everywhere. So, that makes it fun. King of Prussia, Franklin Mills. You got the outlet premium malls, and they're not hard to get to, nor are they far to get to. They're a lot closer than what you may think in traffic terms. 15 minutes, at the most 30 minutes going here, but it's not bad. And the one thing about inner cities that I have to remind myself when I go to them, because I forget this all the time, there are not gas stations everywhere. When I go to where I live at, there's a gas station at every light. Hell, sometimes we got 5 gas stations at one light, at one intersection. You're going to have to see them everywhere. No. And the other thing you got to get used to too as well. Most big cities do not have big box stores. Like your Costco's, your Sam's Club. You might see 1 or 2, but in a city of 1.5 million people, hell, I live in a county that's got 400,000 people in this county, and we got about 8 Sam's Club. We got 5 Costco's, all within about 15 minutes of my house. No matter which way I go, I'm going to go past a Sam's Club or a Costco, and most of the time, both of them, they're not far apart. They may be a couple miles apart, but that's it. But in big cities, you're not going to see these big box stores or a lot of gas stations. I mean, the locals know where they're at, but you're not going to see one on every single corner. You're not going to see one at every bus station or every bus station intersection. No, you're not going to find that. That makes it kind of difficult. But when you go there, you want to enjoy yourself. So map out things you want to do. Map out things you want to do when you go there, so you maximize your time, because there's a lot of things in Philadelphia to do. The museum is great. Love Park is nothing there. Just a park. Nothing bad or good about it. It's just a park. But it's located downtown, so a lot of people get excited about it. So if you want to explore all the big cities, in America, which a lot of people do, put Philadelphia on your list of places that you would go to. Because I'm going to go back, but put Philadelphia on your list of places you're going to go back to, and sit back and relax and just enjoy, Philadelphia, because it's definitely an enjoyable city. Now, one of the things I do like about Philadelphia is that it has 4 seasons. It gets hot as hell, but it gets even colder when you don't want it to be cold. But it's the typical, northern city, and they have cobblestones. So cobblestones and snow is a bad mix. But like I said, you can go there, and as far as pricing goes, it's cheap. It's cheap. You gotta get used to parking on the streets, and I think Philadelphia gets a bad reputation because of the parking authorities. You look at TV and you look at YouTube videos, that's not a good look when people showing every car getting booted. And if you're from out of town, that is a day from hell. No one travels to have extra days to sit there and find a parking ticket or whatever it is. So I played it safe, and I parked in legal parking spaces. But the signs are kind of confusing unless you're used to them. It's one of those cities that is not really designed or set up for out-of-town travelers. It's set up for the locals. And if you come from out of town, spending your hard-earned money, you kind of want to know what you're getting into before you get into it. And the parking authorities don't cut slack. And you don't know if they got a 1947 system computer, or they just telling you things, or what they telling you is true. So when you go there, just be mindful of where you park at. But as far as dining out and stuff, yeah, you can get any kind of food you want. And like I said, nothing's really far. You can get anything you want, and you can enjoy yourself. So the people in Philadelphia, you're going to see the entire rainbow. Yes, you are, no matter where you go. Philadelphia, since I lived there, has been regentrified. It has been regentrified big time. I'm talking about big time. There are places I used to go that I only saw one race. Now, no matter where you go, you see different races. And people ask me if you have nothing, can you make it in Philadelphia? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Philadelphia is a city that if you are a starter, like, trying to be a small business person, or you just don't have anything, you want to get a job, yep, go to Philly. You can make it. Philly is a city of opportunity. There's a lot of opportunities there if you choose to take that route. Now, a lot of people who live in Philly are people who went to school there because they got the 5 universities. They got, St. Joseph, they got Penn, they got Drexel, and they got St. Bonaventure, and they got Villanova. All the decent-sized schools, some of the best schools in the country. you know. But the one thing I did notice, and I guess it's any big city, they'll build a high school, but they don't have a lot of green space around the high school for athletic fields and other things. No, when they build them in the city, they build them right up against the wall, you know. And I'm like, okay, where's the parking for this high school? There isn't any. You got to park on the street and figure it out. I would hate being a teacher in that kind of environment. But Philadelphia is a city that, if I had to pick the top 10 foodie cities in the world, they would definitely be in the top 10. And like I said, it's not just cheesesteaks. They would be in the top 10 no matter against anybody. They can compete against almost anybody. They're not the New York level yet. No. You can't go. There's no Central Park. You got Fairmount Park, which is actually bigger than Central Park. Fairmount Park got a lot of stuff. And maybe during the time frame I went, I didn't see the food trucks because I don't know if they got regulations or whatever, but it's not a foodie city, but it's definitely a mom and pop's restaurant city. You got those everywhere. And God, do they love diners. If you want to go to a diner, you know, it's not quite as bad as Jersey, but it's definitely at that level. They got diners everywhere, and they're cheap. You know, you can go to a diner for $15 and you can get a full meal and be full when you leave and probably full until the next day. Oh, yeah. And the people seem healthy. It's not like, you know, Atlanta where everybody is like two people into one body. No. Atlanta got two people into one body. Atlanta, they just big as hell. You know, most of them in the South are just big like that. So that's Philadelphia. And really, Pennsylvania only really got 2 or 3 cities. Because in between those two is like being in Mississippi. Ain't nothing exciting about it. Ain't nothing there that's going to make you realize that you should get the hell out of here. You're going to know that when you just smell the air. When you cross the state line in Mississippi. But Pennsylvania, though, is a city with high taxes. Yeah, taxes are not low, you know, and the roads are not bad. Actually, I was surprised how good the roads were. The roads are not bad. So they put some money into the infrastructure there as far as for automobiles. I'm not going to say for other things because that subway still bothers me by not being complete. But they got a pretty skyline. You look at these videos, you see a pretty skyline. I mean, skyline, no matter which way you come in the city, the skyline's pretty. And the way they did it was a smart way of doing it. You know, they built the city hall and they built tall buildings around it. But no matter which way you come from, there's a tall building looking right at you. So they got one of the prettiest skylines in America, you know. And it's spread out. But the good thing about downtown traffic, it actually moves. And you don't get all that honking, you know, honking the horns and all the other mess. Now, one thing I want to talk about, the parking fees is like New York. Yeah, you're going to pay a lot. Parking fees, you're going to pay a whole lot of money. It's just like New York, you know. But if you make reservations in advance, which I do all the time, you can see what it's going to cost you online before you go. I mean, you can see what it's going to cost you online, and you're going to get a better deal than if you just ad hoc show up to a parking garage. Yeah, don't do that. You know, you don't just show up. So you show up, you're going to pay a lot more than anybody who got reservations. Okay? So, saying all that, this is the old school traveler telling you, I'm going to have to visit Philadelphia again to give you another review because Philadelphia really do have it going on. Okay, peace out, old school traveler.